Let's get started here on the thin skin stone. For starters, I like to pre-cut all my thin skin parts. So that's the first top part there. Stuff comes on a card, so I like to cut it on the card and then remove the card after, like that. I can show you how to do that later. And then the back is like that. For this particular pattern, I'm using the size 6 Tiemco 2302. You could use any size 6 though, or any hook really. And then the just a 3/16 bead. I'm going to just get my thread going here. So I'm going to tie this in at the tip. And the taper on here is pretty key for the tie-in. Tie that in like that. I usually throw a half hitch in there just to secure it. Trim, slide your bead all the way to the top. That's going to get pulled over like that after. Start your thread. You could do a little thread base behind here if you want, but we're going to put lots of material behind there, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Wind back down to the little bit of the curve here. Cut a little taper into the back, like that. And with this thin skin, there's actually two sides to it. One's shiny and one's dull. I usually use the dull side. So at the back, just secure that with the tip. That's going to get pulled over. Next, we're going to put a little ball of super bright dubbing from Wapsi. So a little bit of a dubbing ball back here. We're going to use that as a little base for our tails. I'm just going to use some tan goose biots, one on either side. Just check to make sure they're even, and then secure them like that. Next I'm going to use some UTC hot yellow wire. Just secure that in place. Usually try and put it in on the bottom and wind all the way back. We're going to do our body. Again, the super bright dubbing in yellow. And dubbing is, we're going to just do a fairly big body here. We're going to do it tapered. We might even just go up and back a couple times just to get a good taper in there. You don't always have to do it in one go. Really locks it down there too, so it doesn't move too much. We want to make sure we leave enough space for all the wing casing and stuff that we have to tie in, and the rubber legs and all that sort of stuff. That looks good about there. Next thing, I'm going to pull out my thin skin to make my back. Secure that. Give it a trim. Next will be my wire. Just nice. Even spaces. Like that. And secure. Trim that off. One thing I like to do at the back here at the tail is just put a fun little bend into them. Just kind of gives them a cool little look. Okay, guys. Next, we're going to move on to our wing casing, and we're going to use some CDC here for some cool movement. First, I'll do a little dubbing ball here at the front. It's a good base for my wing case too, and then follow that up with some CDC. And for the CDC, tan or yellow, whatever color you're using is good. And I just cut a little V notch in there, and then for the tie-in point, just just pop it in. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to pop it in like this, just to try and get a little length. And give it a trim. Let's secure it. And then just before I tie in this wing case, I'll put excuse me, I'll put a little more dubbing in there. So like I said, I had my wing cases pre-cut. And I'll tie that in. I like that. That looks good. And we're just going to do that same procedure again with the CDC and dubbing. At the end, I'll show you how I cut the wing casing. Again, a little bit of dubbing here. Should be able to use the same piece of CDC. If you don't have CDC, it's not the end of the world. Just kind of gives it a real cool look in the water. Traps some air bubbles. And secure. Let's tie in another wing case I've already got cut. Like that. That's good. Let's see. I'll just so that's 2 in there now. Okay, next we're going to just get ready for the antenna. You don't have to, but it kind of looks cool. A little bit of dubbing at the front for a base. Make sure they're even. Looking good. Lock them down. A little bit more dubbing. Let's put in the rubber legs now, right in the middle of here. Let's pop them in here. I usually put them in nice and long so I can trim them after. These are just silly legs. You could use any. There's so many rubber legs out now. 3 or 4 turns, I'll lock those in. Now some dubbing through the middle just to make sure they don't split or come together actually. And then just about ready to wrap up here. Now we're just ready to pull over the front. And then what I'll do is just pull it over. Get my legs out of the way or get my antenna in there. You see that? This is just going to go right along the bead, right against the bead. 3 or 4 wraps in there. Fold it back over. And then catch it again like that. Okay? This is going to be where we're going to finish off. Take a whip finish tool. Make sure all your junk's out of the way. I'll hit it with a little glue after. Flip that back over, like that. and push it down so it sits good, like that. And then I just give it a little trim, just like that, just to finish it off. Trim the legs. I like to leave them a little bit long. You can always trim later. They're looking pretty good. Thin skin stone. Thin skin stone. Hit with little glue just on the bottom. Like I said, you can you can tie this in a double bead version as well. Pretty fun fly to tie. And you can leave out steps for fishing purposes if you want, but that's it. I'll give you a quick little tutorial on cutting the wing case. There's your thin skin. And usually it just depends on what width the wing case you're doing, but I'll just tie a big one so you guys can see what's going on here. They've changed this stuff the last couple of years, but basically it comes on a card. What I've always done is just take it, fold it in half like that. Cut a little V-notch in it, another little V-notch in the center. Put a little taper at the back, like that. Peel off the cardboard, like that. Like I said, one side's duller than the other. I like to use the dull side. And that's about it. Stay tuned for some more videos.